Welcome back to another review. Today, a very special artist that I've touched upon in previous reviews, previous videos, but I felt like today was the most opportune time to review his music, talk about his legacy, and it's a rich, very, very important legacy. Um, Today is the birthday of brother Bob Marley. Um, and I just happened to be wearing a Marley t-shirt today. Actually, I just grabbed it and threw it on, and was listening to a bit of his music today. It was kind of a Bob Marley day, so I thought, what the hell? It's out of order from what I'm doing with the alphabet, my music, but whatever. So Bob Marley for me is an artist who encompasses a lot of different things in his art. It's great music. It's incredible lyrics. It has a spiritual message. It has a rebellious protest message. And to understand Bob Marley's music, and I believe I do, I've read a lot of books, about three actually, on Bob Marley and his life, seen a number of documentaries and interviews. And so I'm fairly well informed on the background of Bob Marley and in Jamaica at the time. Now, in the late 1970s, the Cold War was going crazy between the United States and Russia. And the island of Jamaica was being used by those countries as a pawn for power. Now, communism, the spread of communism around the world was, of course, the fear of the West of the United States. And Russia feared the United States' political clout in the world, and the balance of power was shifting. And so they felt that they needed to get as many allies on board as they could. Doesn't seem much has changed in the world, but anyway. Jamaica had two rival gangs. There was a number of gangs in Jamaica, but two of the biggest ones were being controlled by Russia and the United States. And they were vying for political power, putting in puppet leaders to try and get voted in. And these two gangs were hashing it out in the streets. There was murder. It was a violent place to be. And Bob Marley's music wasn't political. There wasn't a political message in his music necessarily, not an overt political message. But Bob's message was about love, about peace. This is our country. This is our land. Make it something that is worthy of the name Jamaica. A lot of them were proud of it, and they didn't like the bloodshed that was going around them. Now, coming from the poor parts in Trench Town of Jamaica, Bob Marley, like a lot of guys did, turned their attention to music. There was a number of great Jamaican artists at the time with Bob. There was Peter Tosh, there was Bunny Wailer, Bob Marley, and the music of reggae has a lot of Rastafarian influence in it. The Rastafarian faith, if you don't know, has elements of Christianity, elements of Judaism. It's a very unique and special religion in the world, but above all, it is a religion of peace. And Bob spoke of that in his music quite a bit. Now, Bob Marley, when he got together and formed, got together with the Wailers and formed Bob Marley and the Wailers, their message was not just about the injustices that were happening in society at the time, which I guess you could look at as political, but their music was also spiritual in nature. That what's happening all around us, the violence, the poverty that's happening all around us, is something that, of course, we want to speak about, but we're also going to speak about loving one another, because it's not about killing. It's not about killing each other like was happening at the time. Now, I've often called Bob Marley one of the bravest artists that I know, musical artists that I know about, and certainly that has to hold true. Bob Marley was in his home in Jamaica, which was open to everyone. It wasn't a sealed off gated community. There's people coming and people going. And unfortunately, someone took a disliking to Bob's non-political stance. The person that shot him said, "You got to choose a view," and he shot him. It was unfortunate. He was supposed to go on stage a couple weeks later, It's called the One Love concert, and it was only 2 weeks later, and they said, you need to rest and recover. And Bob, if you go up there, they'll assassinate you. They'll kill you. And Bob said, I'm doing it. I have to try. I have to try to end the violence. I have to try to end the cycle of, political violence, violence through poverty. And he did. And he did the One Love concert. And it was a huge success. You had these rival gangs that showed up to the concert, but there was peace and there was harmony in the crowd because Bob was there. And in a incredible, I guess, spiritual way, and a lot of people look at Bob's music and Bob's being one of the most spiritual musicians, he held the hands of the two leaders of the political parties in the air in peace on the stage. And he lifted up his shirt and he showed where he was shot. And there wasn't, so far as I've read or heard about, one arrest in the crowd. It was a moment in time when one man and his music brought people together. And if you listen to Bob's lyrics, it talks about the One Love concert. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right. It was a wonderful message. I've always loved Bob Marley's music. I've loved what it stands for. I loved how it sounds. I always gravitate towards reggae. I love the beats. I love the rhythm. I'm a drum guy. So I really dig the amazing beats and the things that they did. Not to mention the harmony of the Wailers, and Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailers, also who are amazing reggae artists in their own right, contributed to the music. It was just fantastic. And then, of course, it went worldwide. It went all over the world. You had so many bands that were influenced by the Police. I mean, look in the 1980s. It was incredible how you had the Police, heavy reggae influence, UB40, all these bands, reggae blew up. The Clash had a lot of reggae, especially on London Calling. It was, a really good album because of that. And when you infuse reggae into things, it actually does wonders for the music. I love it. I love when I hear reggae beats and rhythms and stuff. Now, Bob Marley died from cancer. He had brain cancer. Some people say that because of the Rastafarian faith, they're forbidden from cutting off parts of the bodies, amputating parts of the bodies. And Bob's toe was infected, I think, and they think they recommended him amputating it, and he said, no, I'm not going to do that. He was Rastafarian, and whether or not that was a result of the cancer that started from that toe and eventually went to his brain, I don't know. But all I know is that Bob Marley was a musician that I respect wholeheartedly because of his bravery, because of his music, because of his message, because of his peace, and partly because of the Rastafarian faith. I think there's aspects of it that are really fantastic. Now, after the One Love concert, Bob Marley got the hell out of town because the violence was back on. The shootings and the violence and the mayhem. So he left and went to England and recorded Exodus, which is a fantastic album. Exodus has got, there's not a bad song on here. Exodus is a fantastic album, but ones you may know, Exodus, of course, Jammin', Waiting in Vain, Three Little Birds. If you get a chance to listen to Bob's music, read the lyrics and read the history behind his music, because it's a great history lesson of Jamaica, of the Jamaican people. Fantastic album, Exodus. The other one I have is Reggae Rebel, Bob Marley and the Wailers. This is a collection of B-sides. It's not really the strongest Bob Marley album, but it's certainly an album that I do enjoy. There's some live tracks on it too. Good album. Next one I have is, of course, one that most people have is Legend, the best of Bob Marley and the Wailers. This is a 30th anniversary edition, so it's colored vinyl. One's red, I think the other one's green. The other one's not in, oh wait a minute, isn't it? Yeah, the other one's green. And of course, all the hits. And I could go through all Bob's songs, but you know them. This is the best one to get if you want like all of his hits. It's fantastic. Another great album is Reggae Fire. That was early on. I can't remember if that was Bob Marley solo or if he was with the Wailers at that time, but that was a fantastic album too. I should have that. I don't know why I don't. Again, Bob Marley, what more can I say? a legend, an influence, and you know, I don't see a person of color when I see Bob Marley. I see a person of peace and love, and that's how I'll remember him and his music. You know, for all time for me. So hope you enjoyed the review. It's been a while since I've done one, so thanks for watching.